So, Matt, this offseason, now that you are, again, working for the Cardinals, how are you looking at the whole hot stove and kind of following what's going on in free agency and potential trades? I mean, I'm guessing you're looking at it from a different perspective now.
Yeah, obviously I'm more interested in sort of the ins and outs of what's going on and what teams are doing what, and getting a chance to find out sort of our plans and, what our goals are and, how we are trying to meet those goals. And so, it's obviously a lot different than just a kind of a casual fan who loves the Cardinals. Now I'm actually invested and excited about what we're doing. And I think this week I have some meetings with Mo and Ollie and some of the other staff. And so I think it's going to get even more exciting in knowing sort of what the plan is moving forward.
How much did you talk to Skip about what he had to do as a bench coach, and have you been in contact with him?
Yeah, I talked to Skip quite a bit. He tried to hire me to come to Miami, and then he said, no, you know what, just go to St. Louis. So I have talked to him quite a bit. He loved it. He loved the time here. He loved the year he was doing the bench coach job. He had nothing but amazing things to say about the year he just spent doing that. So it was good to hear from him and what his experience, and so it was good to talk to him. Now he's super busy. I can't get a hold of him now. He's super busy doing manager stuff, but he's a treat.
So you just said that, so I just have to follow up. Did he really offer you the job, or were you half kidding there?
Well, I mean, he said, you want to come work for me in Miami?
That's a yes.
I don't know.
Because we're trying to keep it newsy. That's news.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's buddies, so I didn't know if he was kidding or not.
There's no news there. He said I would have a spot on his staff if I wanted it, but he knew that it was highly unlikely. But Skip and I are very close, as you know, and that's just, he was throwing it out there.
So you mentioned like you're going to have meetings this week. Has the work kicked in already? Because Ollie said the other day he had like hours of Zoom meetings. I don't know how much the coaching staff is involved in that. Have you sensed like, okay, this is it now? I'm pot committed. Has it kicked in to that point?
No, but I think it will this week. Like I said, there hasn't been a whole much to this point, but the next few days, I'm excited to learn a lot of the ins and outs of what's going on and what my responsibilities will be and what my role will be. So, within the next few days, I think it'll be a lot clearer and a lot more exciting and a lot more hot. Like you feel like you're committed and involved and exciting.
Matt, your times in free agency, did you enjoy that? And if you can, just take us through as a player when you're talking with Scott Boras or your agent. Are you telling him, hey, these are teams that I like, or is he bringing offers to the table? Like, how's that whole process work from the player's perspective?
Well, I think you go into the offseason as a player. You go into the offseason with an idea of a couple different places that you'd like to end up. It doesn't go as fast, I think, as most players would like. I think when you look at the NBA and the NFL, almost the day that free agency starts, partly because they have, salary parameters and very distinct, if you're this kind of player, this is the salary you get. And, they have a lot tighter rules about free agency. And so when you watch that from a baseball player, most of their free agents are signed within 2 or 3 days of free agency opening, where in baseball it could go anywhere from, 5 days, after the season's over to all the way up until spring training. So this wide gap of when guys sign and how your market unfolds based on other guys and all that stuff sometimes can be a little bit frustrating. I mean, I think you talk to your agent a lot trying to figure out, they have these sort of meetings where you have the owners meetings and then the GM meetings and then the winter meetings, and they have sort of this groundwork they lay, and then they talk about trades, and then they talk about free agents, and then it sort of takes a while to unfold. It can be stressful when you're talking about trying to find a place for your family to live for spring training and figuring out where the next few years of your life is going to unfold. It's more fun for some and not so much for others. But my experience was pretty good. I ultimately ended up back where I wanted to be in St. Louis on a long-term deal. And so, you get through all that to ultimately get where you want to be. And so it ended up great for me. It doesn't always end up great for everyone. But, yeah, that's kind of how it works. You kind of have some teams that you have your eye on that you'd like to end up at. And, you want your agent to help facilitate that the best he can while getting you the best the deal possible. And that's how it's kind of handled.
What's that like from a personal standpoint as an athlete who's already put together, a really good resume in your sport, one of the best in your sport, and then there's uncertainty where you have no answers and you're waiting for that phone call. What's that like from a personal standpoint?
Well, it can be stressful. I mean, it can be like, you just want it to kind of be over so you can get excited about the next step. And so, it's at times you want to call your agent and be like, hey, let's get this done, or what are the offers, or is there offers? Why aren't there offers? But you have to have patience because, like I said, there's a lot of things involved. A lot of teams are they're looking at trades, they're looking at their in-house free agents, they're looking at a lot of different things, and so sometimes. It takes a while to get to you and to what they're willing to do. And in my case, the Red Sox made a very aggressive early offer and then pivoted and signed John Lackey. And so, stuff like that happens where you can't really control it. And then, it kind of sets things back a little bit. And then, like I said, ultimately, by the end of January, you hope you have a team, and you might be late getting spring training housing, but you're on to your team and you get excited about it and go play.
So if that offer from the Red Sox was still there, would that have been a tough call for you?
Well, it came and went pretty quick. And
okay.
It wasn't, and they had some room to move if they were going to get even get me to consider it. So. Stuff like that. It wasn't close. I mean, it was just, stuff like that happens where, a team will make an initial offer and then, sort of, if you turn it down, they pivot and give it to somebody who'll take it. And then, sort of that option's off the table. So, stuff like that happens in free agency.
So how about the second time around? Was it a no-brainer to go to the Yankees, or was that down to the Yankees and you were close maybe going somewhere else?
Yeah, actually, I thought the Astros deal was done. I had a 2-year deal with the Astros done, and we were actually in Orlando at Disney World with the family on a little vacation, and went to bed at night thinking the Astro deal was done, and got a call in the middle of the night basically saying that, they had changed courses and rescinded the offer and gone in another direction. So that was a little bit different. Like I said, I thought that deal was done. It was going to be pretty good considering, Houston was in Jupiter or Palm Beach for spring training, and Houston's not far from Oklahoma as far as, logistics of that goes. But that kind of fell apart. And then, we had talks with the Yankees before we thought about, the Houston thing was a good fit for me family-wise. And the Yankees were still there and ended up going there.
When you think you have a deal and it doesn't happen, that'll put a damper on a vacation, won't it?
Yeah. It was a little bit of a frustrating evening. Like I said, I thought it was done, and usually when it got to where it got, 99 out of 100 of those deals are done. So it was an interesting deal.
So I want to ask you this before we let you go. You're getting ready to be the St. Louis Cardinals bench coach, your first taste at MLB in terms of coaching. And I know that you're a guy who preps, you ask around, figuring out, what's going to be asked of you. What do you consider the biggest challenges for you as you embark on this new part of your career?
Well, I'd say the thing that I probably know the least about is probably the data that they're using as far as what the analytic department deems useful, why they deem it useful, sort of the data that they think can help improve players. I'm obviously a little bit more hands-on where, I think physical changes and, I've grown up looking at swings and looking at performance and trying to figure out how I can make it better with physical, my eye, and to have data to back it up. I'm anxious to learn about, like I said, what they think is important, how they come to that. So I would say that's probably the one thing that I know the least about. I mean, I've been doing a lot of research on it, and we have a lot of that data at college now. But we don't obviously have a staff like the St. Louis Cardinals and a lot of these MLB organizations about, that's all they do. And so that's something that I'm anxious to dive into and obviously getting to know the staff. I know Ollie very well, obviously. But some of these other guys, I just know kind of on a high-by type relationship. So I'm anxious to get to learn the staff and get to know them. And so those are the things that I think, are sort of first order of business for me.
And, Matt, we think you maybe dodged a bullet there not going to the Astros. That might have been an interesting 2017 for you in that situation.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I know.
Or I could have prevented all that.
That's what I was thinking. But that's what I was thinking. Do you stop that?
Well, do the math on who they signed instead of me. I mean, it's a pretty easy dot to follow, but that's all hindsight. It worked out. Obviously, I got to go to New York and play for the Yankees, which was really cool, and got to know Aaron Judge, who's become one of my close friends, and got the experience of playing in the city and putting the Yankee uniform on, which my grandpa was a huge Yankees fan growing up. So that was cool. So no regrets.
Yeah, it all worked out. But we do believe you would have put your foot down if you were part of that whole thing. Just so you know.
Yeah,
he would have done the right thing.
A lot of people didn't even know what was going on, including the general manager.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
I had no idea. Crazy. Maddie, thanks for coming on, big dog, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All right. See you, buddy.
See ya.
Thanks.
Matt Holliday right there. That's
And he
funny.
was talking about Carlos Beltran,
yeah.
which I figured, but I had to look it up.
Imagine that you go there and you're like, whoa. Like, damn, you guys are really
And then you're
really doing it.
And then you're like, am I saying something? I'm the new guy. Do I say
know,
something?
but you're Matty Holliday, too. Like, you're the new guy, but you got clout.
Yeah.
I think he would.
By
I
the
think
way,
he would have put his foot down.
I think he's mad at us a little bit about last week. Because
Is
I
he?
heard Nate
What
kind
Nate
of
do?
explaining.
No, he was all good. I just said, hey, we should have
Yeah, we should
have
let you know.
communicated better with you.
Yeah, it's all good. He's cool,
I
man.
said he had a nice
Jim,
thanks.
finish your stupid question.
That was a newsy interview.
That was news.
He threw a couple things out.
The sweet potato casserole.
Yeah, that's it. That was it for sure. Is Matt Holliday saying he's a better person than Carlos Beltran?
I think that's clearly what it insinuated.
Yeah.
Not to mention they were teammates in St. Louis.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's also our guest. I don't want to put him on the front page of the sports section.
No.
Well, he said it. He said it in a way that it's pretty obvious. I think, look, most people know.
We get that.
There's a reason, and maybe it's not fair, but there's a reason that all these other dudes from the Astros scandal, besides Luno, because I think he's now doing soccer or something.
He is.
But A.J. Hinch and Alex Cora, these guys have gotten jobs back. Carlos Beltran is the one guy. Remember, he got the managing job for the Mets, and he has not yet been allowed back in baseball. So you wonder if he was the guy who really was the ringleader, if he has to sit out longer or potentially forever in terms of coming back to baseball.
Interesting. Little tidbits there. Yeah, we don't want to just tweet that out.
Charlie, I give you kudos. And also, pretty much, Skip asked him to be on the Marlins staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlie's our MVP today.
Yeah, you did a good job
I don't know
with
about that.
You did a good job with that, buddy.